looks good.
All right. All right, my friends, welcome to the Atlanta Bitcoin Embassy for our weekly cocktail party. It's always great to see you. It's the coolest thing happening in the blockchain world and in Atlanta, and maybe in the world every week. So yeah, in the world. So look, I mean, we live in strange times. I'll tell you a story about this morning. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I unlike the rest of you, I know none of you do this. I tend to check crypto prices too much, right? I do. So I woke up and I checked crypto prices at 5 a.m. and we were up. And then I checked again at 7 a.m. and we were down 10%. So I was like, what? You know, what's happened to the world? And I'm sure you heard the news that major investment banking houses declined to establish a crypto trading desk because of the absence of regulation and blah, blah, blah. The rest is, you know, everybody's looking for any excuse to buy or sell because why? Because it's a new industry and we don't actually know what the right price is, and everybody's just latching on to any bit of news that's out there. And it defies our sense of things. Like, we all want to believe that value is somehow connected to something underlying, something real, something that's authentic, that we can touch and hold, something that's true. But actually, this is a complete illusion. And I'm sorry to reveal this strange fact about the world to you, but nothing material in this world has any inherent value whatsoever. I mean, not your clothes, not your car, not your house, not this building, not a single existing company. Nothing has any inherent value that's intrinsic to it. All existing value in the world is an extension of our human minds. So guess what? We live in a world of economic quicksand. Everything is like that. And it's terrifying, and we don't want to believe it. So we try to find an excuse. We're like, wait, why is crypto down? Well, why is it up? What is supposed to be the price? You know, the price is what it is right now. And so it is with Nike tennis shoes, your house, the price of the car I was shopping for today, you know, your wages. You know, all of us live in a world that is created by the human mind and nothing else. It's a little weird and it's hard to reconcile, but it's just true. But I want to take you back just slightly, and I would love to be able to transport everyone in this room back with me. I can't do it because we live now, not, as Kierkegaard said, the motion of time is always forward. So I can't take you back with me, but I will try to describe to you as best I can the world of March of 2013. Okay, so imagine you're in a world in which Bitcoin is not yet believable. Almost every article that appeared anywhere in the newspapers or the magazines was putting it down as a scam and a Ponzi scheme, where you didn't really know the future of it at all. Like, a future in which Bitcoin was $7,000, $10,000, $20,000 was essentially inconceivable. And let's think about what that means. Magic internet money, a numeraire made of math, created by some dude on a keyboard, put out onto the internet, is going to be worth 20,000 times that of the most valuable currency in the world, which is the US dollar, okay? So that future awaits us, but we don't know for sure that it's true. So far as we know, in March of 2013, this is a crazy experiment based on nothing at all. So, and we don't even know why people are paying for this mystical, magical, floating piece of math in the air. You know, like, why is anybody paying for this? Oh, I don't know. I think I'll pay for it. Why? Oh, because other people are paying for it. Well, why are they paying for it? Well, I don't really know. They seem to value it for some weird reason. I don't know. And in February, I got my first Bitcoin at $14 because it was sold. I sold my bow tie off my neck actually for three Bitcoin. actually, which I thought I was being ripped off. I was like, I'm giving something that's really valuable, for which I paid $60 for some math that arrives on my phone, and which is technically valued at less than what I paid for it. But I did it only to accommodate my lunch partners, who were people like Charlie Shrim and the inventor of Shapeshift and Eric Voorhees and the rest of these dudes, right? So they, but I had a sense that maybe it was true. Maybe it was true. Maybe there's something to this. And I went home, and I'm a responsible. Just so you understand, I'm a responsible intellectual. Who like tries to say true things in my writing, So I experienced Bitcoin for the first time, so I began to write about it. And almost immediately it went to $30, which, if Bitcoin were $30 today, what would you all be doing in this room right now? You'd be like, well, so much for that, right? God that failed. Bitcoin, yeah. Bitcoin, the God that failed, right? But in those days, $30, and this is why I'm asking you to kind of like port your brain back in time to imagine these times. In those days, if you can believe it, $30 was inconceivable. It was the most impossible thing that could have ever happened. The most improbable absurdity on the planet Earth. And I had written my article when Bitcoin was $14, $15 about like, maybe there's something to this. Shot up to $30. My Facebook feed exploded in outrage at me personally for having engaged in a pump and dump, right? I was pumping the price of Bitcoin up to $30. And truly, again, I can't take you there. I wish I could. Again, you don't know the future. You don't know that Bitcoin is going to be someday $7,000, $10,000, $20,000. You don't know that there's a future to crypto. You don't know that there's going to be a Dogecoin and a Monero and a Bitcoin Cash. There's no forks. There's no future at all. And so when it hit $30, it felt like you were levitating off the ground. Like a magician had come to you and said, I will raise you from the ground, and lifted you up, and you began to float. That's what it felt like in those days. And people were screaming at me, this is a hysterical, insane bubble. Why are you pumping this coin? Well, guess what? I never intended to pump anything. I just wanted to celebrate what I saw was a viable technology. Maybe. But it kept rising and rising. It was $30. And then it was $135. And people began to look to me and they said, hey, Jeffrey Tucker, you're clearly a guru. I mean, you clearly see the future. You know what's true about the world. Tell us what to believe now. And I was like, am I really? I never actually asked you to buy Bitcoin. I never gave you any kind of investment advice whatsoever. However, and we all tend to adopt the persona that people treat us as, right? So suddenly I'm a guru, and I'm like, but I think there's a future to this thing. This is really awesome. I think it's real. And people began to say, okay, thanks. And buy. And so the market went up, and it went up, and suddenly it was 150, and it was maybe 200, then it was 250, and I began to think, maybe I am awesome. Maybe I do know the future. Maybe I have some special clairvoyant knowledge. And then the disaster happened. And we all know about this, right? If you're involved in the crypto space, you know what this is like. You wake up one day, the market turns, right? It turns. And suddenly the damn thing collapsed, and it just began to sink, and it fell. And people began to scream at me and blame me for the fact that the market was falling. And it fell, and it fell, and it fell. And I remember that day like I lived it second by second. It would fall another $5. My friend Pete Earle, who has since apologized to me a bit, in those days you couldn't get posted prices very easily. At least I didn't think so. And he was tweeting out the price of Bitcoin every few minutes. And it kept falling. Every tweet was like a dagger in my heart. It's like, it's down to 180. Oh, now it's 160. Now it's 130. And my enemies were like, you suck, Tucker. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Your fake internet money is just sinking. It's going to die. It's going to be zero before you know it. Your reputation is shot. A lifetime of work and a well-earned reputation for integrity is just no more. You're dying with this price. And I began to believe it. Yeah, that's true. And so then it was 90, then it was 80, and then I think it settled at like 60 or something. I don't remember, but it was just horrible for me. And literally, I was sitting at my desk, and I remember like beads of sweat pouring out of my head, and just like rubbing my face. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything, but I believed it. Right? The whole world's screaming at me. This was my fault. I'm a sucker. I caused this. I'm ruined everything. Like the world was a beautiful place until I showed up. There was some sense that was true. And I kind of believed it. We all believe the things that people believe about us, unfortunately. It's very difficult not to. And so I just didn't know what I was going to do. And I considered terrible things. It's terrible to even admit this, but you know, I just imagined, like, I've always wanted to hurl myself out of a window, and I thought this was the time. No, I thought this was the time to do it. But my office was on the first floor, so it wouldn't have achieved anything, really. So I didn't do that. But I couldn't. Does this ever happen to you? You get yourself so stressed out that you can't like unstress yourself? Does this ever happen to you? Like, it's like a mental circle you get in. It's like you keep, and you know it's happening to you, but you can't unravel it. You can't dig yourself out of it. And you know you need a reality check, but you don't know how to get it because you're not going to provide it yourself because you're insane. And I was insane that day. So I called up my old friend, Joel Bowman, who was working at Agora Financial at the time, and he was the asshole who got me involved in this stupid thing in the first place. I'm like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's great, you gotta go for it. And I called him up, and he was living in Argentina. I said, Joel, this is the worst day of my life. I've never been so sad. I'm horrible. I'm contemplating terrible things, really. And what are we gonna do? Our whole lives are over. Your reputation's shot, my reputation's shot, and everything. And he began to, you know what was funny about that day? Being on the phone with him? He began to laugh uproariously. He laughed so hard. He thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. He's like, hey, this is Bitcoin. This is how we do. Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency. Everything's going to be fine. I said, what do you mean fine? It's not going to be fine. This is the most horrible thing that's ever happened. And my whole reputation is shot. Look at you. Just look at the markets. We've been sinking all day. I'm over here bleeding, you know? I mean, it's just ghastly. It's like, look, Jeffrey, check yourself. Do you believe in this technology or not? I said, well, I think I do. He said, well, the argument's over. That's it. You know? Is it the thing? You know it's the thing. You've vetted it, you've looked at it, you know it's awesome. The market's gonna go up, the market's gonna go down. This is the world we're in, you know? Get used to it, enjoy it, love it. Separate yourself from it, look at the rest of the world freaking out and laugh and move forward. And my first thought was, you son of a bitch. You have no idea how much I've suffered today. But it did make me feel a little bit better. And I put down the phone, hardly slept that night. You know, over the next several months, yes, it rose and rose and rose and rose. And then I got more confident, right? I began to think, I'm affirmed in the trueness of my predictions. And by the end of the year, by October and November, I made the mistake of making yet another prediction. I said, you know what? Bitcoin is going to be $1,000 by the end of this year. Because I began to feel confident because the market was cooperating with my intuitions, right? So then you just kind of go with the wave, right? And I said, it's going to be $1,000 for the end of the year. And sure enough, it's something like November, 29th, 28th, 29th of 2013?
Late November,
yeah.
Late December, whatever.
It bumped into $1,000. And I was, a hero. The whole world was like, dude, How do you know these things? Well, it's my special access to amazing secret knowledge of the future, You want to know the future, just ask me, But what's going to happen now? Well, I don't really know, or maybe I do, and I'm not going to tell you. Well, sure enough, come January, it collapsed again, 66%, just about, it was collapsed from $1,000 to $350, and I went back into hiding, right? Yeah. So, look, these experiences happen, and well, I don't know what to tell you. With upside potential comes downside risk. This is the world we live in. I, for one, love it. If you didn't love it, you wouldn't be here. We are excited about a brilliant future. We are excited about the possibilities for human beings to transcend what we know, to discover something we don't yet know, to see the way a beautiful idea can rebuild the future narrative of history and ways that leave the imperfections of the past to get us ever closer to some greater ideal. To me, that's what this is all about. I don't know the path we're going to take, but I do know that every time in the history of humanity something awesome comes around, there's a period of freak out, there's a period of adjustment, and then there's the third stage of massive human empowerment and betterment of humanity. You can say that about printing technology, about internal combustion, about the telephone, about flight, the invention of steel. We forget that it took 20 years before anybody even believed that steel had any kind of commercial viability whatsoever. Or, to dip back into the most recent past, the internet itself. 1995, the web browser was invented, and every reactionary in the planet Earth said, this is a bunch of junk. Oh, what does it mean? So you can share pictures of your sandwich you had for lunch? You call that productivity? That's not wealth creation. Why don't we get back to making real things? And guess what happened? In 1999, the entire market imploded. And all the reactionaries and the fuddy-duddies and the old-fashioned dudes who loved the old world said, see, all you young kids and your stupid internet bullshit, it all sucks, it all died, and now you're paying the price. You sinned, now you're going to hell, and you better repent and love the physical world again, because that's the only future. But you know what happened? You know what happened just a couple of days ago? Last week, Apple passed 1 trillion market cap. Amazon, the company that everybody's been disparaging for 20 years, passed 1 trillion in market cap. They're doing more than 1 billion transactions a year, 32 a second, I think we looked at today. This is the future. The future is about human connection, digital media. All we really needed to complete this picture was money, something to detach us from the intermediaries that have ruled us and ruined us for 6,000 years. That's what Bitcoin represents. Is it Bitcoin BTC? I don't know. Is it BCH? I don't know. Is it Dogecoin? I don't know. None of us know. We don't know. But we know that this technology is awesome. It's happening. Welcome to the future. Enjoy the ride. It's a roller coaster. Get used to it. Love it. Don't defenestrate yourself. And let's move forward. And thank you all for being here to be pioneers and builders of this new world.
Do you want to take some questions?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has a question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
If not, we can just go back.
Yeah, we can go back to drinking.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. To the end of the